All right, now we are in the prep data step. In this step, we will see all of our columns listed out here for us, as well as a preview of all of our columns and all of the answers within those columns. All right, the first thing I want to do is I'm going to go ahead and collapse my side menu. You also have the option to collapse your preview menu if you like, but I'm going to go ahead and keep my preview pane there. All right, right now we added the respondent ID, which is the first column in our data. So it already kind of defaults that as our respondent ID. But if for some reason your respondent ID is the third, fourth, or fifth columns, you just go ahead and change it, which is very important because we need to have a respondent ID in order to count distinct respondents. All right, so make sure you have a respondent ID in your data. If not, use that the add respondent ID action in the upload screen and then select it here. All right, the next step we're going to do is apply our new question numbers. Now, this is important because whenever we have those multiple choice or those matrix type questions where there is more than one column connected to that question, for example, here, this question had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different columns. We need to tell the software that those are all in the same columns. All right, now we can easily see it here because it's number 7 for all of these, but every survey software doesn't have that. So we need to be able to group all of those together, and we need to give these the same number so that the software knows to group those columns together into one question. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. But before we do that, I want to get rid of this timestamp column because I'm not going to use that in my visualization. That's just something that was generated, as well as this protection against spam column. So I'm going to select both of these here, and I'm going to use my first action, which is hide. All right, now the cool thing here is once you hide it, you can always go back to actions and bring it back. So it's not going to actually delete the question or the actual column. All right, so let's go ahead and apply our question numbers to all of these columns. Now, the question number doesn't have to be exactly, the same ones are here. Like I said, Google Forms is really the only one that actually puts the question number in the actual column header. But only thing you have to do is make sure that they're all grouped together. So I'm going to go ahead and do that really quick. As you see, I'm just going in each of these fields and typing in the number. You can do it that way, or you can select all of the different columns in one swoop, go to action, apply question number, and then put that here. All right, so you can do either one, whichever one is faster for you. All right, so now all of these have the different question number. Like I said, this is important because this groups the columns together so that the software knows that all of those columns are with one question. All right, next we have our question types. Now our question types is going to be one question type per new question number. Our question type is going to be based off of the question type on the specific survey tool you used. Now we have a crosswalk that's going to tell you exactly what question type to select here based off of the question type that is in your survey tool. So for example, this is a Google Forms survey. So we have a Google Form question type crosswalk. As you can see on the screen, you see we have what the Google Forms question type is, what the corresponding VizualSurvey question type is. If that question type for Google Forms is going to require just a single new question number, for example, like all of these, are just one column per question number, or is it going to be a grouped one such as these have multiple columns for each question number. Now you also are going to have notes, which as you see in this example, the checkbox question type in Google Forms requires a split, which we'll do. Also, multiple choice grid requires you to delete the question type, the question text in the brackets in matrix row during the cleaning step, which we haven't got to yet. And the checkbox grid requires a split and also some cleaning, which we haven't got to yet. So this is going to explain and show everything, show you how to do everything here. And And it's going to give you all the notes, a video explaining exactly how to do it for each survey tool. And the good thing is, once you learn how to do this for Google Forms, if all of your surveys in Google Forms, it's going to be the same thing every time. So it's going to be very repetitive, and very easy to learn. All right, so the next thing you're going to do is apply the question type. Now you're going to have one question type per question number. Okay, so for example, question number 7, which are all of these columns, are going to have the same question type. Okay, now you're going to be able to get the question type from whatever survey tool you used. So for example, this is a Google Forms survey. So go ahead and go in Google Forms, look and write down the question type for each one of these questions, which I did, which I can show you here. And I wrote down the exact name that Google Forms had. So 1, it was a short answer. 2 was multiple choice. 5 was date. And I wrote these down for every single question. And then I went into our knowledge base and found the question type crosswalk, which is specifically for Google Forms. And as you see here, we have the Google Forms question types, and then what the question type will be in VizualSurvey. So for number 1, we had a short answer, which is here. In VizualSurvey, we're going to select text box or zip code, unless the question is what is your zip code, or it has an answer of a zip code, then it's going to be text box. And then it also tells you this is going to be a single new question number, which you see is just number 1. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and quickly look at my Google Forms survey, look at the crosswalk, and select the question type for each one of these columns. All right, so now I finished the question types by using that crosswalk. You can also use this preview to help you. You can filter the data here, as well as clicking on these numbers here to filter your preview as you're going through it. Next thing you're going to have to do is with certain survey softwares, for example, Google Forms, we have a column, which I'll show you by clicking this number here, that has multiple answers in the column. Now this is not going to work because we need all of these answers in individual columns. So we're going to have to split these out into individual columns based off of the delimiter, which is a comma. So a comma is separating all of these. So let's go ahead and hit select for this column and go to action and split. It's going to say, what is your delimiter? It is a comma. So we're going to put a comma here. And we're going to make sure that our answer values do not have a comma in it. So if you have like numbers or a sentence, make sure it does not have a comma in it. If it does, then go take it out in the raw data before you move forward, or else you're going to jack everything up. All right, let's go ahead and hit apply. And then it's going to split all of these columns, all these answers into its separate columns. Now, if we look, you'll see we have multiple columns, number 8s now. And if we preview it, we'll see that each column has just one answer in it, which is exactly what we want. All right, now we can go ahead and put the numbers in here, and then also put the question type, which is going to be the same for all of them. All right, now we're done with that part. And now we're going to select filters for our dashboard. So here we're going to select the filter, and then you have the option to name it. You're going to name it something short. That makes sense. You also have the option to use it as a filter only. For example, if you create a field in your data, that's maybe a bucket or grouping, you don't want an actual chart of it. You just want to see it as a filter in your dashboard, be able to filter it. Then you can use that use as filter only option. All right, let's go ahead and save this and continue. Let's do one for region, and let's put a region here. Let's do one for NPS score and put an NPS score here, and go ahead and save it. Now you'll see once we save it, we have numbers 1, 2, 3. This will correspond to the number of the filter in the dashboard, which will make more sense once we go to the dashboard section. All right, well, that is a general view of the prep data screen. Now we're going to go ahead and move forward with the clean data screen.